Meeting of the President's Interagency Ocean Policy Task Force. I'm Nancy Sutley, Chair of the White House Council on Environmental Quality and Chair of the Interagency Ocean Policy Task Force. Joining me today on behalf of the task force are Dr. Jane Lubchenco, Undersecretary of Commerce for Oceans and Atmosphere and the Administrator of NOAA, Admiral Thad Allen, Commandant of the U.S. Coast Guard, and David Hayes, Deputy Secretary of the Department of Interior. We're very honored to be here in Anchorage at the Denina Center after spending the last few days traveling throughout Alaska and getting a first-hand experience of this incredibly beautiful state. We've met with many people and seen many things that will help inform the work of our task force. I would like to now briefly provide some background on the task force and our purpose here at this meeting. On June 12th, President Obama issued a memorandum establishing the Interagency Policy Task Force, which is comprised of 24 senior policy-level members from executive departments and agencies across the federal government. The President charged the task force with, within 90 days, developing recommendations for a national policy for the ocean, our coasts, and the Great Lakes. A framework for policy coordination of efforts to improve stewardship of oceans, coasts, and the Great Lakes, and an implementation strategy that identifies and prioritizes a set of objectives that the U.S. should pursue to further a national policy. And the President also asked that within 180 days, by December 9th, that the task force provide a recommended framework for effective coastal and marine spatial planning. Today's public meeting is part of a broader effort to engage stakeholders and the public and to hear their views and suggestions to inform the task force as it develops its recommendations. The value of these regional perspectives is very important to the success of this process. To hear about real-life experiences during these meetings that will help ground our work in reality. And we've also convened some 24 expert briefings on priority issues for the task force, on issues including conservation, energy exploration and development, shipping, ports, commercial and recreational fishing, Native Alaskans and tribes, and national security. We have also set up our CEQ website to receive public comments, and I encourage any interested persons or organizations to send us your input there, and that website address is www.whitehouse.gov/oceans. In today's meeting, first we will hear from a panel of local experts which will provide the task force with targeted information on some of the key issues important to Alaska and this region. Then we will move on to public comment. I'd like to now turn the microphone over to Dr. Lubchenco, who will say a few words. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Chair Sutley. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to be here in Anchorage as part of President Obama's Ocean Policy Task Force. Because of Alaska's large and diverse coastal areas, we are here to listen to people who know the ocean well and who depend upon and care passionately about uses of the oceans. We want to hear from them about the policies and practices that are needed to ensure that Alaska has healthy, productive, and resilient oceans and vibrant coastal communities, cultures, and economies. During this week, we have had wonderful opportunities to learn from residents in Nome, in Shishmaref, in Barrow, in Fairbanks, in Deadhorse, and now here in Anchorage. We had very valuable conversations with state, local, tribal officials, researchers, educators, and people from all walks of life about the value, fragility, and changing nature of Alaska's bountiful marine resources. We also witnessed the effect of climate change on Native Alaskan villages, talked with researchers about how they monitor climate change, and learned how the ongoing decline in seasonal ice is changing Alaska's marine ecosystems and the lives and livelihoods of the people that depend upon them. These changes are introducing both challenges and opportunities. Many are anticipating a new Arctic gold rush, eventually involving fishing, energy development, shipping, and tourism. These activities can compete with each other and with existing and traditional uses of ocean resources. Collectively, the whole ensemble will place additional and very likely significant stress on the ocean ecosystem and our nation's ability to protect its people and exercise its sovereign rights. In every other ocean basin around the world, overexploitation has led to widespread depletion and disruption, often despite good intentions. Melting of sea ice in the Arctic is creating new opportunities for use, but also new opportunities to learn from past mistakes, and this time to get it right, to use the ocean and its resources wisely and sustainably. Let me focus for a moment on fisheries and on a landmark decision announced just yesterday that I believe provides a great model for expanded activities in the Arctic. Yesterday, Commerce Secretary Gary Locke approved a first-ever fishery management plan for the Arctic that ensures that any new fishing in the Arctic does not damage the overall health of this fragile ecosystem. Developed and approved unanimously by the North Pacific Fishery Management Council, the plan ensures that we gather sufficient information on fish and on the Arctic environment before beginning new commercial fishing activities in the Beaufort and Chukchi Seas. This is not to say we can't use the ocean. We need to be able to use it, just not use it up. With so much at stake, the Arctic provides a unique opportunity to use a precautionary approach, but also to employ a potentially very useful tool called marine spatial planning. Marine spatial planning brings known, emerging, and potential ocean users together, assesses the competing pressures, and works on a plan to minimize conflict in ways that protect the ocean and the people who want to use it. Marine spatial planning can provide the oversight that ensures healthy, productive, and resilient ocean and coastal ecosystems, in turn that support coastal communities, cultures, and economies. I cannot conceive of a geographic area where this is more important than in the Arctic. We are here today because we care. Each of us in the federal family of this task force brings unique capacities that we can bring to help build a framework for more holistic and thoughtful approaches to managing the oceans. We very much look forward to continuing to hear from Alaskans in the public session this afternoon and through the website over the next couple of weeks and months. It's been a deep pleasure for many of us to be here. Thank you so much for the wonderful hospitality that we have received, and we look forward to working in close partnership with you as we develop our recommendations to President Obama as part of this Ocean Policy Task Force. Thank you.